Hello students. To begin with, let me introduce myself. My name is VK Mahajan. I'm here with this video with an intention to provide you the complete knowledge about the literary devices that we call sometimes poetry devices or we call it figure of speech. I realize while teaching students, I find that most of us are not very clear about all the poetry devices at one place. Moreover, if you go through certain other PPTs available, but they're all PPTs, there's no interaction as such where you can listen to the teacher live and have the live experience. So this is the agenda of the video, and here I've taken mainly the examples of 10th and 12th class books so that it can help the students uh, immensely for their board exams. Other people can also learn from the same. Okay, let's begin with this. We call it literary and poetic devices, as I told you. So this is something which we have to study. We call it rhetorical device, people say. We call it figure of speech, we call it poetic devices, we call it literary devices as well. All these names are given to this. Okay, and what it is a fancy way of saying my heart out. It is a word or expression used not with its original meaning, not with its original meaning, but in an imaginary way. You can see this, what the writer is trying to say. It is an imaginary way to make a special effect, create rhythm, enhance a poem's meaning, or intensify a mood or feeling. To intensify a mood or feeling, it's a fancy way of saying or say something. It's we can say like it is. They are communication tools. They are communication tools. You can say, or we can say it is a fancy way of saying. We can say this as well. Now, if you recall in Hindi, you have learned this alankar. If I recall, there was one, I still remember one alankar, that is Anupras alankar, I recall. It is just to beautify your language when you are writing as a poet or as a writer, either in poetry or in prose. Okay, we have to study all these kind of these poetry devices in this video. I'm not saying that these are only 28 poetry devices. There may be many more, but I've tried to give you the information about those which are valid, which are very important for young students, so that they can excel in their exams. So, with this intention, let's start. Alliteration. It is a Latin word that means repeating and playing upon the same letter. You can understand upon the same letter. And then alliteration is repetition of words starting with or containing the same letter or sound. It is a very old device indeed in English verse and is used occasionally in prose, containing the same letter. Now it is containing the same letter. It can be in the beginning of the word or can be in between. We can say like that. Alliteration is common in tongue twisters. If you call tongue twisters, we say one tongue twister is for you. Betty Botter bought some butter. Betty Botter is the name of a girl. So Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said the butter is bitter. Okay. If I put it in the batter, what she was making, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter, I also better butter mil jata. If but a bit of better butter, that would make my batter better. That's what I say. Now it is B is repeated, though I've highlighted B, so we can say B is repeated, but T is also repeated here. We can check this. So this is called alliteration where a letter is repeated. Okay, have more examples for you. Five friendly Frenchmen flew from France. F is repeated here. Grassy and wanted wear. W and S, now you can see S is there in the somewhere in the middle. W is in the beginning. W is in the beginning. We can say SS is repeated. WW is repeated. We're saying W and S are repeated. And poem, that the road not taken, that you must have read in your syllabus. Okay. Over all the starry sapphire. This is rain on the roof. This is a poem in the 9th and standards. S and R are repeated here. And now in memory comes my mother. M is repeated. memory comes my mother. One memory, M is the beginning, but comes M is in the middle. That's what the says. M is repeated. And in their funny flurry clothes. This is the poem, a legend of the Northland, if you know. FF is repeated. Then my cakes that seem too small. S is repeated here. You can very well understand. I've given you the name of the poem also so that you can relate immediately which poem it is. Now, this very, very good poem, the ball poem. Balls will be lost away. B is repeated and same, and no one buys the ball back. Again, B is repeated. For the 12th class student, fingers fluttering when the Aunt Jennifer is doing some work and she's embroidering pictures of the tigers and all, so her fingers were fluttering. So F is repeated here. Okay. Chivalric certainty. When the tigers, they have that kind of elegance, they have kind of this thing, self-confidence. So chivalric certainty, C is repeated here. Prancing proud. Again, you can very well understand, same poem, P is repeated. Okay. And you can understand, in one verse, the same verse can have two or three type of poetic devices. It depends how you take it. But right now we are talking about PP, so we say it is alliteration. Cooling cupboard, you know, this thing of beauty that they make a cooling cover for themselves. This is written there, though there is an inverse in the verse as well, but we say cooling cupboard is written, CC is written there, so we can call it what do you say, alliteration. Okay, so that's what the alliteration is. Now, more examples for you to come to the next session is repetition. Now I said is this poetic device alliteration where letter was repeated. Now we are saying the repetition. Repetition means repetition of words or phrases is a little device that a poet employs for the purpose of emphasis. For the purpose of emphasis. Away, away in Northland. Away, away. When you say away, away, मतलब हिंदी में भी बोलें तो दूर, बहुत दूर ऐसे कहना चाहते हैं. English also say that we are using this word away. We can write the repetition of away emphasizes how distant Northland is. How distant Northland is. We're talking about that. Same, and rolled it flat when she was rolling the dough to give a cake to the fellow, to the saint. So she was like greedy, you know. So what she did it, the word rolled it used twice to emphasize that the lady rolled the dough many times to make it as flat as possible. That rolled and rolled. And then by boring and boring, all day in the land, dry wood means Legend of the Northland, that poem that you know, that keeps boring to find its food. Boring here emphasizes the hard effort that woman turned woodpecker has to make to find its food. That is boring and boring, and showing the intensity of the hard work it has to do. And then water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner poem says, this is a poem early in the 10th syllabus, but it is a very popular poem where they get stuck in the sea, ocean, and all around there is water, salted water for sure, but they had no water in within the ship to drink. That the writer says, the poet says, water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Here, water is repeated to show the immensity of water around. Immensity of water around. That's what the thing is. So water, water, boring, boring, rolled and rolled, away, away. This is indicating you repetition. Let's learn a few more examples of repetition. Now for the 12th class students. Smile and smile and smile. You can understand smile has been written thrice. What to show? To show a plastic smile she carried on her face to give confidence to her mother. The repetition of the word smile indicates the rather long and artificial smile the poet had to put on to cheer up her mother and to hide her own worry, anxiety, and guilt. That is what she was trying to say, but by writing smile, smile, and smile. And again, without rush, without engines. This is the poem, The Keeping Quiet, you know. You have that poem with you. Far from gusty waves, an elementary school classroom in a slum that is far, far. This is what he's saying. Break, oh, break open till they break the town. Elementary school classroom in a school. And then far from rivers, capes, and stars of words, You can very well understand now this without, without, far, far, break, break. What are they? They are the repetition of the word we say. If the word is repeated or a phrase is repeated, that's what I was saying is here the word is repeated. So it is different from alliteration. Now, simile, we know this. What is simile? Where we have similarity, where we use as and like. It's a Latin word meaning like. In it, a comparison is made between two unlike ideas or objects, typically using the word like or as. Unlike ideas or unlike objects, we make like and as, then we try to compare. Okay, lips like roses, lips like rosebuds, and kisses like wine. Obviously, the taste of kisses was as good as wine, and lips seemed like rosebuds. So the lips like rosebuds. She was as fresh as a lily. You played like Sachin today. Shivaji fought like a tiger in the battlefield. Fought like a tiger in the battlefield. So immediately tiger comes to my mind. Okay, the vitality. And then thin as a wafer. We're talking about this poem. Thin as a wafer. She rolled the dough as thin as she could because she was very greedy. And then as black as coal, as black as coal, a legend of the Northland. The body of the woodpecker became as dark and black a coal is. Okay, like newly discharged patients. This is the poem that we have in 19th standard syllabus, where the poet has come. This is basically relating to woman liberation. When you read, you find like newly discharged patients. Here, the poet compares the branches of the trees to the patients recently discharged from a clinic. They were fresh, so then comparing to this, that those who have come from the clinic, they are fresh, they are newly discharged patients. Like lagaya hai. Now you see one more. Still reaches like a voice into the room. Here, the smell of leaves and lichens is explicitly compared to a voice. The moon is broken like a mirror. The tree. Moon is broken like a mirror means what? Moon cannot really break into pieces, but he says the moon is hidden behind the branches and the leaves of the oak tree appear to be shattered mirror. When you see through this, the mirror, sun is on the other side. So when you look from this side, you can see that glittering. So shattered mirror का appearance दे रहा है वो. And the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard, as mustard. Why they has been compared to mustard? As is showing you simile. Here the poet compares Belinda's dog with mustard because of its sharpness, as mustard seed have sharp pungent taste. That's what the case is. Mouth like a furnace, वो जो उसका custard था. Here the mouth of custard, the dragon, is compared to a furnace, बता रहा था. Belinda was as a barrel full of bears. Now, Belinda's bravery is compared to a group of bears. Means bravery को compare करा. Now, सारे जितने भी मैंने example दिए हैं, you can see all the examples. You have got like here, you have got like here, you have got as here, you have got like here, and similarly as here. So when you have something, the easiest one I say, when in a poem you find as or like is given, it is simile. Okay, give you more examples of the 12th class students. Let's see. Her face Asian like that of a corpse. Asian like that of a corpse. You can understand the poet's mother's face was pale and greyish. She seemed to have lost all vitality. Such paleness, that is greyish color of the skin, is usually associated with a sick or dead body. So that is why it has been compared to like that of a corpse. Then wan, pale as late winter's moon, as late winter's moon means pale and wan reinforce the idea of paleness and lifelessness. Mother was decayed, very old. Winter symbolizes death. Thus, the mother's face is indicative of her very frail health and approaching death. That is the explanation of the line. But you say van pale as. So as likha hai, one can very well say like rootless weeds, hair of the students. If you know the poem, it is used to describe the coarse, untidy, and unkempt hair of the slum children. You know that poem is there. Like bottle bits on stone. Same poem, we have that slum school children, and we say like bottle bits on stone. Like bottle bits mean okay, on stone. This simile graphically describes the shattered glasses of the spectacles, okay. The slum children sitting on the slag heaps look like the bits and pieces of glass shattered against a stone. Likewise, their hopes, aspirations, ambitions, and lives also lie shattered and neglected. And then, like catacombs, catacombs are the graves which are found during excavation, means forgotten lots, like catacombs. The slum children dwell in dark and dingy rooms which resemble subterranean cemeteries called catacombs. The windows of these rooms look like the lids of catacombs. Windows, this like. That's what the case is. Now you can see this. Whole of the examples, like is given, as is given, like is written, like is written, like is written. Even anyone can just have a look at the verse and find out what poetic device it is. Then we have this example for you is metaphor. Metaphor is something like simile only, but it is another way of saying. Like what? It's a Greek word meaning carrying from one place to another. It is the description of one thing in terms of another that is related to it by analogy. We have to just set analogy. One characteristic, second characteristic means five characteristics. Then you compare them. That is metaphor. But when you said Shivaji fought like a tiger, so tiger came to my mind. When one says Shivaji was a tiger in the battlefield, now I have to understand tiger is sharp, fast, tiger is gallant, something like this. We have to find write the characteristics of tiger here, then Shivaji here. That is the analogy we have to set. Or we can say a metaphor is a figure of speech that describes an object or action in a way that it is not literally true, but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. Exactly तो वैसे नहीं होंगे शिवाजी टाइगर, लेकिन हाँ टाइगर जैसे हो सकते हैं. तो we compare the qualities, we say attributes, examples. She sailed across the room. When she sailed across the room means what? Who can sail? Obviously, boat or ship. So she sailed and she went very smoothly. ऐसा कहना चाह रहे थे, लेकिन हाँ, we said she sailed across the room. Here she is compared to a boat or a ship. A carpet of snow covered the pathway, and that was being rolled up by a man driving a small tractor with a scoop on the front. What do you say? Carpet of snow. अब carpet of snow कैसे हो सकता है? But we say carpet of snow, so it comes to your mind that it is something like this laid on the what you call ground, something lot of snow that comes to my mind. It means here snow lying on the path has been compared to a carpet because of its uniformity on the path. So it is like a carpet only. One can understand why it is said this way. Shivaji was a tiger in the battlefield. I gave you the example. Shivaji's fierce strike and valor has been compared to the traits of a tiger. Traits of a tiger. Whatever the quality tiger contains, same were of the Shivaji. That's what I'm saying. Shivaji's fierce strike and valor. So Shivaji was a tiger in the battlefield. Now there is nothing like. She sailed like a ship कह सकते थे, but मैंने नहीं बोला. I said she sailed across the room. Means now you can understand sail कौन कर रहा है. That's the indirect way of saying that is metaphor. More examples for you. You are the Sachin of my college, I say like that. Your quality of play has made me compare you to the qualities of Sachin Tendulkar, we say. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. You know the poem that you read in the ninth standard, The Wind. Here the wind has been represented as a very clever and powerful being who terrifies and laughs at the weak and helpless. So there's a you are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. So who can poke fun? Human. Here the wind has been represented as a very clever and powerful being. Now this the same thing can be said it is personification, but the same thing can be said as metaphor. You tore the pages of the books. Who tore? It means you are human. I call it personification. But here the action of the wind has been described as a mischievous act of a naughty child who makes a mess of everything in his or her playful but destructive way. That's what the writer is trying to convey, though you can say it is a metaphor as well. Wheels of the Morning. This lake isle of Innisfree. This is a poem there in the 10th standard, which is by the way, this year omitted somehow. But wheels of the morning. No, morning की तो कोई wheel नहीं हो सकते ना. तो what are the wheels of morning? What comes to your mind? This comes to my mind. It is a metaphor for the clouds in the morning sky, or maybe the fog of the early morning, or mist, or maybe even the dew on the morning grass. These clouds all appear like wheels that all are lifted once the sun rises. Obviously, so wheel is of what? Wheel is of the word. Wheel is of clouds, maybe. Wheel is of clouds, or it may be of fog, or it may be of mist. But the moment the sun rises, what happens? They all fade away. So there's it can be dew as well. The writer is trying to say the wheels of the morning. Now, what comes to your mind? That comes to your mind. It means it's metaphorically been said. Now, for the 12th class students, rat's eyes. An elementary school classroom in Islam. The metaphor is suggestive of boy's timidity and anxiety. Rat's eyes is timidity and anxiety. He is reclusive and timid like a rat and searches for food and security. Father's gnawed disease, it is written in the same poem. The boy's father is suffering from rheumatism, or a debilitating disease that has left his body crooked. The quality of the boy's life has been severely affected by the father's handicap, or the boy's thin body is no better than the crooked disease-stricken body of his father. Similarity lag rahi hai. Father's gnawed disease. If you see, you find what is written there. Squirrel's games. A squirrel enjoys enjoying. The squirrel enjoys playing freely in the outside garden. It hops across the lawn and climbs up the trees and hides in their holes. The boy also wants to play like the squirrel but cannot. He must sit in the dull and dreary classroom, but he's thinking, he's imagining, he's in a fancy world of his own. Squirrels games. Squirrels games तो squirrels games होती हैं, लेकिन बच्चे का वहाँ पर vitality है, उसका enjoyment है. That's what the case is. Tree room. The hiding place of the squirrel, a hollow in a tree. Without tree room आप सब जानते हैं, which in boys imagination is full of fun, curiosity and mystery. So now tree room is compared to these kind of things, full of fun, curiosity and mystery. That is what we call as metaphor. Futures painted with a fog. It is also a metaphor, you can see. Similarly, merry children spilling out. Merry children spilling out. You can refers to the spill of a liquid or beans to indicate intensity. That's why merry children spilling out is indicating of what? This liquid or beans means gushing out. Bar quiet refers to a quite shady part in the garden. Then sweet dreams. Then wreathing a flowery band connecting to or associated with nature, wreathing a flowery band, and pall, or covering like a shroud. Pall. In the poem that the thing of beauty is there. So these are all these poems, the bar quiet, sweet dreams, wreathing a flowery band, or pall, they are all from the thing of beauty. So these are all metaphors. If those 12th class students, they're watching, they can very well understand. Now there is another, this is pun. It's a device of deliberate wordplay which stimulates the reader or provides him some comic relief, which emerges from the possible different meanings of a word, or from words which sound alike but have different meanings. Pun, you can very well understand. I've recalled this pun as fun. It is easy to learn. Missy Forbes is a secretary who cannot be dictated to. Who cannot be dictated to. What do you mean by the word dictated here? Means you cannot give her a dictation, she cannot note down your whatever is speaking. One is dictation, and you can also say that she is kind of bullying. You cannot control her. Dictate करना किसी को, वो भी तो dictate होता है. और एक dictation देना, there is also dictation. So we say here dictate means to give dictation, or dictate can be interpreted as to control, either as a dictation or as control. Okay. The neighbors were arguing from different premises. What is a premise? Premise if you go to reasoning, this premise is a kind of fact which has been given to you. That is a premise. Okay. And then premises, you can very well understand premises is from your campus. So here premises means location or areas, and premises means as per their own understanding. Premises, it's all mind over matter. Never mind, it doesn't matter. अब आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है आप कैसे पढ़ते हो. इट्स ऑल माइंड ओवर मैटर. नेवर माइंड, इट डजंट मैटर मीन्स वन मीनिंग ऑफ माइंड इज ब्रेन्स, पहले वाला, एंड मैटर मीन्स कंटेंट्स. But it can be interpreted as what? Mind means to feel bad and matter means not to bother. आप पे डिपेंड करता है आप कैसे पढ़ेंगे. राइटर ने अपने तरीके से कहा है. It is pun. You can take it in different ways. You can see pun. Again we say, is life worth living? It depends on the liver. Is life worth living? Depends on the liver. Liver means what? जो लिव करता है या फिर हमारा ऑर्गन लिवर होता है, ये तो आप पे डिपेंड करेगा व्हाट इट इज. सिमिलरली, आई स्टैंड एंड लुक एट देम लॉन्ग एंड लॉन्ग. दिस इज अ पोएम ऑफ द एनिमल्स. देयर इज अ पोएम इन योर 9th 10th syllabus. Long and long, one can say it is repetition, but here what I'm trying to say is, if you read the poem you find it is pun. What is long? Long and long, बहुत देर तक. लेकिन ऐसा है कि one long is the word long that has been used twice has been punned upon. Now you can say the poet means that he stands and looks at the animals for a long time, and he longs means desires to be one with them. एक longing वाला long है और एक long बहुत देर तक के लिए long है. It is not repetition here, it is pun here. Okay, you read, you come to know कि कौन सा longing है. Let's stop for 1 second means what? And not move arms so much. That is what the writer is saying. Not move arms so much. Here arms means weapons. Arms means physical arms of our body which we should not use in harmful activities. We say that we say arms. तो arms को आप कैसे ले सकते हो भाई? एक तो आप arms ऐसे यूज करोगे यानी किसी को मारने के लिए या कुछ करने के लिए, वो आर्म्स भी हो सकती हैं फिजिकल आर्म्स, और दूसरी आर्म्स मतलब वेपन्स हैं. अब आप पे डिपेंड करता है आप कैसे पढ़ते हो. दिस इज द पन ही हैज यूज्ड. Keeping quiet, the poem is ringed. You know it well. What do you mean by the ringed? The lady is using, the ring is there in her hand, on her fingers. That is ring. But ring also indicates the kind of ordeals she has faced, and then they have surrounded her. Ring in her finger, which sits heavily on her. Difficulties which will always surround her. फिजिकल रिंग ऑफ मैट्रिमनी इन हर फिंगर. दोनों तरीके से कंसिडर कर सकते हैं. फिजिकल रिंग भी हो सकती है या डिफिकल्टी जिसने उसको सराउंड कर रखा था वो भी हो सकती है. So this is from that Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. If you 12th class student watching, they can very well understand. Okay. Onomatopoeia. It's a Greek word meaning name making. Name making means its use. It is the use of words whose sound suggests their meaning. आप जैसे सुनेंगे मीनिंग आपको अपने आप ही आने लगेगा. क्या? सिजल, स्प्लैश, क्रैक, बज, जैप, डोंग. डोंग करते ही आपको घंटी वाली फीलिंग आती है. क्रैकल, क्लैंग. क्लैंग लोहे पर बजना होता है तो क्लैंग. जूम, थड, वूश. यानी जैसे ही आप वर्ड पढ़ते हो क्या होता है, इट कम्स टू योर माइंड ऑल ऑफ अ सडन कि यार इसका मीनिंग ये होगा. यानी जब वर्ड पढ़ते ही आपको उसकी साउंड से वर्ड मीनिंग आ जाए, वी कॉल इट onomatopoeia. And lie listening to the patter. You know this poem on the roof, the rain on the roof imitates the sound the raindrop makes as they land on the surface of the roof tiles. patter पढ़ते ही पट 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 दिमाग में आता है, पैटर हो जाता है. ठीक है. Every tinkle on the shingles, you can see a tinkle, imitates the gentle and clear musical sound that a droplet makes when it falls on the roof tiles. Tinkle is with the music you create with your instrument, but here roof tiles पर जो रेन ड्रॉप पड़ रही है उससे भी जो म्यूजिक जनरेट हो रहा है उसको वो कंसिडर कर रहा है क्या? टिंकल. टिंकल आते ही आपके दिमाग में टिंकल आ जाता है. That's what the case is. Okay, this is from the same poem. The poem को आपके लिए rain on the roof. That's what the case is. Okay, now oxymoron. What is an oxymoron? Oxymoron is something, it is a Greek word meaning pointedly foolish होता है. Pointedly foolish. What do you mean by that? It is a figure of speech which combines incongruous or contradictory terms for a special effect. Two different meaning words are clubbed together to give you a good effect. Say like this: ऑक्सिमोरॉन इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड ग्रामेटिकली रॉन्ग, इसको सही मानते हैं। जैसे हमने बोला वाइज फूल, अब आप कहेंगे वाइज भी है फूल भी है। डिफनिंग साइलेंस, नॉट डेफनिंग साइलेंस कैसे हो सकता है, साइलेंस तो बोल ही नहीं रही तो आपको डेफ कैसे करेगी, बट इट शोज इंटेंसिटी ऑफ द साइलेंस। An honest thief, you can very well understand. The poor little rich boy. Seriously funny. We use it at many times. Seriously funny. अब funny है तो serious कैसे है, serious है तो funny कैसे है, but हाँ only choice. बट अगर आपके पास only है तो फिर choice ही कहाँ रही, choice होती तो एक से ज़्यादा होती ना, बट आप कह रहे हो only choice, but we use it. There was a small crowd in front of the cinema hall. Crowd भी small हो सकती है, लेकिन हाँ हम use करते हैं, everybody agrees to that. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. This is a poem that you have in your syllabus, A Tiger in the Zoo. ये जो है, ठीक है, क्वाइट रेज है। आप कैसे बोलेंगे क्वाइट रेज? हेयर क्वाइट एंड रेज, अब देखो क्वाइट भी है और रेज भी है। रेज का मतलब तो आउटरेजियस एंगर वाला होता है, तो दोनों चीजें मिक्स करके हम बोल रहे हैं क्वाइट रेज है। हेयर क्वाइट एंड रेज आर कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी, एज वन इज लाउड इन ए रेज, नॉट क्वाइट, बट द टाइगर इज साइलेंट एज ही सप्रेसेस द एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ रेज। क्वाइट रेज, रेज को वो कंटेन करके चल रहा है तो क्वाइट रेज हो जाता है। ओके, माइटी डेड, इफ यू नो द पोम द थिंग ऑफ ब्यूटी, उसमें माइटी डेड है, डेड भी हूँ और माइटी भी हूँ, ऐसे हो सकता है, बट हाँ वी यूज लाइक दैट, माइटी डेड होता है। ओके, तो दीज आर मेनी मेनी सच पेयर ऑफ वर्ड्स आर यूज टुगेदर, they though they have different meaning, contradictory terms, incongruous terms, but they make a useful word which is not grammatically wrong. We use it, this is known as oxymoron. Then we say personification. Personification is something sometimes called pathetic fallacy also. बिकॉज फैलेसी तो होती है, आप किसी को किसी के साथ मानने लग जाते हो तो रॉन्ग बिलीफ ही तो है, लेकिन हम मानते हैं ऐसा होता है। इट इज असाइनिंग ऑफ ह्यूमन फीलिंग्स और कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स टू नेचुरल और inanimate objects, or personification is a literary device in which the poet associates human attributes, human qualities को associate कर देता है with some abstract ideas or an inanimate object or a natural phenomenon. You find the example trees groaned. ग्रोन तो पर्सन करेगा जब चोट लगेगी, लेकिन ट्री ग्रोन कर रहा है, हियर ट्रीज हैव बीन डिस्क्राइब एज ह्यूमन ग्रोनिंग। ओके, द जोवियल मूल, जोवियल तो आप हो सकते हैं, कोई और हो सकता है, लेकिन मून भी जोवियल हो गया, मीन्स हियर मून बीइंग जोवियल मीन्स हैप्पी, गिव्स इट अ ह्यूमन ट्रेट इंडिकेटिंग द मूड ऑफ द पोएट। द वेव्स वर क्लास्पिंग हैंड्स एंड माउंटेन्स वर किसिंग द क्लाउड्स। क्लास्प क्या होता है, ऐसे वाले हैंड्स को क्लास्पिंग कहते हैं, तो वेव्स वर क्लास्पिंग हैंड्स, so they were moving very rhythmically, and mountains were kissing the clouds, they were very high, we can say this. So waves were so silent that they seemed clasping hands and moving very silently and rhythmically, waves के लिए। And then mountains were so high that they were touching the sky, we can say, तो माउंटेन्स वर किसिंग द क्लाउड्स, तो हु कैन किस, ह्यूमन, लेकिन आपने ह्यूमन एट्रीब्यूट माउंटेन्स को एसोसिएट कर दिया, तो वी से दिस इज पर्सोनिफिकेशन। यू टोर द पेजेस ऑफ द बुक्स, याद है अभी थोड़ी देर पहले मैंने कहा था कि ये मेटाफर है, हाँ मेटाफर की तरह भी यूज कर सकते हैं क्योंकि हमने उसकी नॉटीनेस को बताया था, बट अब हम कौन कर रहा है, मैंने कहा था वहां पर हेयर द प्रोनाउन यू रेफर्स टू द विंड, ही एन एलिमेंट ऑफ नेचर वी से, it means you as a human consider हो गया, the wind is addressed as a person. Okay, tigers in Aunt Jennifer's tigers are personified throughout the poem when they are described as being proud, confident and unafraid of men and prancing, all those things। कैसे, ये सारे के सारे फीचर क्या हैं, ये ह्यूमन के फीचर हैं, तो उसके हिसाब से वो बोल रहा है कि वो प्राउड होंगे, कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे, अनअफ्रेड ऑफ मैन होंगे, तो दिस इज ऑल दी, दिस इज पर्सोनिफाइड। ओके, ऑन द फेस ऑफ द अर्थ, याद है आपको अपने ये पोम पढ़ी थी, क्या नाम है, कीपिंग क्वाइट, उसमें क्या है, अर्थ कैन नॉट हैव ए फेस बट कंसिडर्ड ए लिविंग ह्यूमन बीइंग हेयर ऑन द फेस ऑफ द अर्थ। ठीक है, तो फेस अर्थ का हो सकता है लेकिन ह्यूमन का ही फेस होगा, बट हाँ लिटरली हमने आपको समझाया है कि यार ये ऐसे होता है। देन वी हैव दिस ट्रांसफर एपिथेट। व्हाट इज दिस ट्रांसफर एपिथेट, काफी लोग इससे कंफ्यूज रहते हैं, इस काइंड ऑफ एडजेक्टिव, यू नो, it's difficult to find out when you are in exams. Transfer epithet is a poetic device in which an adjective is used नॉट विद द नाउन विच इट क्वालिफाइज बट विद सम अदर नाउन, जिसकी वो क्वालिटी है उसको ना इंडिकेट करके किसी और के साथ हम उसको यूज करने लगते हैं, तो ट्रांसफर एपिथेट होता है। एपिथेट का मतलब एडजेक्टिव है, तो आपने इसके एडजेक्टिव को किसी और के साथ ट्रांसफर कर दिया है, दैट इज ट्रांसफर्ड एपिथेट होता है। लेट्स सी क्रूअल बार्स, वन ऑफ द पोम्स दैट यू हैव एन एग्जाम, द टाइगर वाला जो वो केस में बंद होता है, तो बार्स को क्रूअल कह रहा है। भाई बार्स थोड़ी क्रूअल हो सकती हैं, लेकिन बार्स आर प्रिज्यूमेबली इंस्टॉल्ड इन ए प्रिजन एंड दे आर इनएनिमेट ऑब्जेक्ट्स, सो दे कैन नॉट बी क्रूअल। तो फिर क्रूअल कौन है? द पर्सन हु इंस्टॉल्ड दीज बार्स इज क्रूअल। द बार्स merely serve to foster the person's cruel intentions, बट हमने कहा किसको है? क्रूअल बार्स। तो क्रूएलिटी ऑफ द ह्यूमन इज बीइंग एसोसिएटेड विद बार्स, तो यानी उसको ट्रांसफर कर दिया ना अपने क्वालिटी को बार्स के ऊपर, तो ये ट्रांसफर एपिथेट हो गया। होप यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस। स्लीपलेस नाइट्स, तो नाइट्स थोड़ी स्लीपलेस होगी। पर्सन द वन हु वाज रियली अपसेट, ही हैड स्लीपलेस नाइट्स। कैन ए नाइट बी स्लीपलेस? नो, इट्स द पर्सन एक्सपीरियंसिंग ए नाइट ड्यूरिंग विच ही और शी कैन नॉट स्लीप, द स्लीपलेस नाइट्स। Suicidal sky. A sky cannot be suicidal, but a dark, ominous sky might add to the depressed feelings of a suicidal individual. Okay. Unhappy marriage. Naturally, marriage cannot be unhappy. Sonakshi has an unhappy marriage. तो marriage थोड़ी unhappy है। कौन unhappy है? A marriage cannot have emotions of being happy or unhappy. In fact, unhappy is Sonakshi, but it transfers the modifier unhappy to the word marriage. तो क्या हो गया? Unhappy marriage बना दिया। टेरिफाइड हैंड्स, आपने पोएम में पढ़ा है आंट जेनिफर्स में, हैंड्स कैन नॉट बी टेरिफाइड। इनफैक्ट टेरिफाइड वाज द आंट बट हर ग्रीफ स्टिकन हैंड्स रिफ्लेक्ट दस, तो टेरिफाइड हैंड्स उन्हें कहने की कोशिश की है। ग्लूमी डेज, हियर द ग्लूम ऑफ द पर्सन इज बीइंग ट्रांसफर्ड टू द डेज। ओके। Gnawed disease, a disease is not gnawed but gnawls are being transferred to disease to show the pain, gnawed disease है। नाउ यू कैन सी उधर वाली क्वालिटी को दूसरी वाली क्वालिटी के साथ एसोसिएट कर दिया, डिसीज को नॉल बोल दिया, डेज को ग्लूमी बोल दिया, हैंड्स को टेरिफाई बोल दिया, मैरिज को अनहैप्पी बोल दिया, स्काई सुसाइडल हो गया, नाइट स्लीपनेस हो गई, बार्स क्रूअल हो गई। all the qualities of something else being transferred to the other person, other entity, this is known as transfer epithet हो जाता है। देन एंजैममेंट होता है, दे आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। Enjambment is a figure of speech in which one line of poetry rolls on to the next line without any pause marked by comma or a full stop. Normally a poem पढ़ते हैं, what happens? Four lines, four verses, four verses. Now every verse has comma or full stop after two, something of this kind. But sometimes you find there's no full stop, no comma, nothing of that kind whole the poem. Or sometimes the one word from the next line is being already used in the first line. You can see this now. Rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water. Now what happens? You can see rising out of it. यहाँ तो हमारा खत्म हो गया rising out of it, but ये feeding क्या है? Feeding has to come here. Feeding upon its crust. लेकिन वो feeding यहाँ लगा दिया और यहाँ पर upon the crust आएगा। फिर absorbing क्या? Absorbing years of sunlight. अब आना तो नेक्स्ट लाइन में चाहिए था, लेकिन पहली लाइन में यूज कर लिया है। दिस इज समथिंग एंजैममेंट हो जाता है। हियर देयर इज नो पंक्चुएशन मार्क एट द एंड ऑफ द फर्स्ट एंड द सेकंड लाइन। द फर्स्ट लाइन रोल्स ऑन टू द सेकंड एंड सेकंड कैरीड ऑन टू द थर्ड, दैट इज एंजैममेंट हो जाता है। एंड द नाइट्स आर सो लॉन्ग इन विंटर दैट दे कैनॉट स्लीप देम थ्रू। अब दैट तो पहले आना चाहिए था, कॉमा तो कहीं है ही नहीं। वी से हियर द फर्स्ट लाइन रोल्स ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट। The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, that is also the enjambment. Here the first line rolls onto the second line and the third line rolls onto the fourth with no punctuation mark. The way a crow shook down on me, तो crow shook down on me इकट्ठा आना चाहिए था, लेकिन हाँ कॉमा नहीं है हमें पर कुछ भी, तो enjambment consider हो जाता है। Driving from a parent's home, this whole of the poem is enjambment. The mother is 66, if you know. In this poem, the poetess has used enjambment as she has written the whole poem without any full stop in the single sentence. That is in a single sentence, that is enjambment. Okay, now you understand कि जहां वो आना चाहिए वो वर्ड पहले आ जाता है, या कॉमा फुल स्टॉप एग्जैक्टली नहीं लगा होता और बिल्कुल ऐसे ही चलता है, we call it enjambment होता है। Imagery. अगेन इमेजरी समझ ही आती है कि आपके सामने बिल्कुल एक इमेज जैसी बन जाती है, इमेजरी हो जाता है. Imagery in poetry refers to the mental pictures or images which evoked in the minds of the readers through words in a literary work. Imagery makes a poem graphic and more appealing. Graphic and more appealing. The small poem The Dust of Snow, अगर आपको याद है, is full of visual imagery of the winter landscape. वो पोएट नीचे खड़ा रहता है, ऊपर क्रो होता है, फिर वो ट्री के ऊपर स्नो होती है, जैसे वो हिलता है फिर वो सारी स्नो जो है फ्लेक्स उसके ऊपर गिरने लगते हैं. व्हेन यू रीड दिस आपको रियली में लगता है कि पोएट वहां खड़ा है, सामने ट्री है, ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है. इट रिप्रेजेंट्स द लैंडस्केप ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट विद स्नो कवर्ड ट्रीज, ए क्रो पर्च्ड ऑन द hemlock tree and a lonely traveler passing by. The imagery corresponds with the mental state of the poet. इमेज. टाइगर्स इन द जू, अगर मैंने बात करी थी हमने टाइगर्स इन द जू, जिसमें टाइगर वो उसको हमने केज में रखा है, इज रिच इन इमेजिनरी एज द रीडर्स कैन विजुअलाइज अ टाइगर विद a striped body walking quietly in his cage in the zoo. In contrast, there is also imagery of the forest showing a tiger gliding stealthily through tall, thick vegetation or threatening people with its terrifying teeth and sharp claws, and a plump deer near a water body. ये सब उस पोम में लिखा है, अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो आपको रियलाइज होगा. यू कैन वेरी वेल सी जैसे टाइगर आ गया है, डियर वो पानी पी रहे हैं, तो आपके दिमाग में एकदम इमेज बनने लग जाती है. दैट इज इमेजरी होता है. The poet has also painted the picture of a star-studded sky that the tiger looks at during the night. Star-studded जैसे ही कहेंगे हमारे दिमाग में एकदम स्काई आ जाएगा, बहुत सारे स्टार आ जाएंगे, स्टार-studded हो जाता है. Bright topaz denizens in the world of green, अगर आपने पढ़ा हो तो. Men beneath the tree, again आपको दिखने लगते हैं आदमी बैठे हैं पेड़ के नीचे. Wedding band sits heavily upon her hand, clearly समझ आता है रिंग है. See, these are all imagery. When you just visualize that, आपको वो imagination में दिखने लगता है, that is imagery होती है. Flowery band, if you know, आपको अचानक से याद आता है टियारा. Shady boon, आपको याद आता है ऐसे शेड वाली जगह जहां पर बहुत सारे पेड़ होंगे, ऐसा कुछ. Clear rills, water rills. Daffodils in green word, we say. Grandeur of dooms, we say. एंड देन कूलिंग कवर्ड, कूलिंग कवर कहते ही वो स्ट्रीम्स के ऊपर एक कवर जैसा दिखता है आपको, वैसा वाला आ जाता है. एंड देन से एंडलेस फाउंटेन ऑफ इटर्नल ड्रिंक, द थिंग ऑफ ब्यूटी में उसने बोला था, तो वो मेस्मराइज हो जाता है ब्यूटी से. देन से दिस इज एंडलेस फाउंटेन ऑफ इटर्नल ड्रिंक पोरिंग ऑन टू अस फ्रॉम हेवंस ब्रिंक, समथिंग ऑफ दिस काइंड. तो इटर्नल ड्रिंक का आपको लगता है सच्ची में एक फाउंटेन गिर रहा है, काइंड ऑफ. कोल्ड सी, एंड देन ब्राइट टोपैज डेनिजन्स आई डिस्कस्ड, दिस आर ऑल इमेजरी. ब्राइट टोपैज डेनिजन्स, ओके. तो इमेजिनरी आपको टाइगर दिखता है, उसकी वो टोपैज वाली आंखें दिखती हैं, और ब्लू कलर का, सॉरी येलो कलर का दिखता है, जो टोपैज कलर होता है, तो ब्राइट दिखता है. इमेजिनरी कम्स टू योर माइंड, दिस इज व्हाट वी इमेजरी है. देन सिंबलिज्म. Symbolism is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from their literal meaning. लिटरल मीनिंग से अलग होते हैं, लेकिन सिंबॉलिक मीनिंग हो जाते हैं. द डव इज अ सिंबल ऑफ पीस, यू कैन वेरी वेल, डव बोलते ही सिंबल ऑफ पीस आता है. ए रेड रोज स्टैंड्स फॉर लव. ब्लैक इज अ सिंबल ऑफ डेथ वेस्टर्न कल्चर में. ए ब्रोकन मिरर may represent separation or hopelessness. Apart from being one of the powerful natural forces, wind can also symbolize the adversities and challenges of a life that have the potential of causing a lot of destruction, loss or life and property and consequent pain. ये भी अगर आप विंड पोएम पढ़ेंगे तो आपको समझ आएगा. ऐसे ही थर्ड वाला एग्जांपल देखिए, ट्री स्प्रिंटिंग एंड मैरी चिल्ड्रन. व्हाट ट्री स्प्रिंटिंग, ट्रीज आप किसको इंडिकेट कर रहे हैं? यूथ, विगर, वाइटैलिटी, लाइफ एंड ग्रोथ. ये तो सिंबलिज्म है. अब आप बोलेंगे कि आपको इसको पर्सोनिफिकेशन भी है. आई टोल्ड यू, same words can have more than one poetic device. Now it can be considered symbolism. Winter's moon, symbolic of death. I said this somewhere we were discussing. It is symbolic of death. Symbol से बात करते हैं, symbolism हो जाता है. Then uncle क्या है? Oppressor. Aunt Jennifer कौन है? Women all over the world wedged under the tyrannical hand of a patriarchal society. Wedding band, patriarchal society where the command is defined as masculine. Aunt Jennifer's hand, reality of her life. उसका जैसे वो कांप रहे हैं क्या है. Tigers, her dream and desires of being powerful, fearless, decisive and liberated. टाइगर्स को तो वैसे ही उसने उसकी चेरिश डिजायर थी ना, उसने वैसे रिप्रेजेंट करा है. हालांकि दे सिंबल मेल कम्युनिटी एज वेल, बट एम्ब्रॉयडरी इट इज अ सिंबल ऑफ क्रिएटिव एक्सप्रेशन. एंड आंट इन द लास्ट स्टैंजा, इफ यू जस्ट सी द सेम पोम, शुरू में उसने आंट जेनिफर लिखा है, बाद में उसने आंट लिखा है. As opposed to Aunt Jennifer, it shows that she has lost her identity completely, thus lost even her name. अब सिर्फ वो आंटी रह गई है, उसमें कुछ नहीं है, यानी वो she has been tortured so much. Simple sheep refers to mankind as Christ is considered the shepherd who leads human souls out of dark world of sins and temptation. Simple sheep. क्राइस्ट को क्या मानते हैं? क्राइस्ट को मैथोलॉजी में ऐसा मानते हैं कि वो शेफर्ड थे, तो हम सब उनकी शीप हुई, वो हमें गाइड कर रहे हैं, तो सिंपल शीप हो गया. दिस इज सिंबोलिज्म है. एनाफोरा होता है. एनाफोरा इज व्हाट? यू कैन सी दिस एग्जांपल. Don't break the shutters of the windows, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf. First word is don't है. This is known as anaphora. ऊपर मैं पढ़ता हूँ दोबारा से. It is a Greek word meaning carrying up or back. Anaphora is a poetic device in which a word or group of words is used repeatedly to create a special effect or emphasize something. It is the repetition of word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses for rhetorical effect. Successive clauses में don't and don't. This is anaphora. Here the imperative structure beginning with don't is repeated in the beginning of 3 consecutive lines, showing the speaker's strong appeal to the wind not to do certain things. तो ये उसके लिए यूज किया, एम्फोसिस करने के लिए. एक और देखिए एग्जांपल, बड़ा अच्छा एग्जांपल है. फ्रेल क्रम्बलिंग हाउसेस, crumbling doors, crumbling rafter, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Now, ये जो crumbling है, सेकेंड लाइन और थर्ड लाइन में, थर्ड वर्स में, दिस इज दी एनाफोरा. वेर इन अगर आप फर्स्ट वर्स करोगे क्रम्बलिंग हाउसेस, क्रम्बलिंग डोर्स, क्रम्बलिंग राफ्टर, तो ये रेपिटेशन हो जाएगा. होप यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. ओके. द वर्ड क्रम्बलिंग इज रिपीटेड नंबर ऑफ टाइम टू शो द एक्सटेंट ऑफ डैमेज कॉज्ड बाय स्टॉर्म इवेंट. नाउ लेट्स सी एसोनेंस क्या होता है. Very rarely used assonance. The repetition of vowel sound. I can give you example. Slow progress over the cold plateau. तो o repeat हो रहा है या vowel repeat हो रहे हैं. The repetition of vowel sounds. You can see the repetition of vowel sounds or use of identical consonants. Use of identical consonants with different vowels to achieve a particular effect of euphony. Euphony is very सिम्फोनिक होता है. यूफोनी इज वेरी स्वीट वॉइस. तो आपको एक फीलिंग आती है. स्लो प्रोग्रेस ओवर द कोल्ड प्लेट्यू. किल्ड, कोल्ड, कल्ड. बट इफ इट हैड टू पेरिश ट्वाइस. तो ये एक पोम आपके 9th-10th में आप पढ़ेंगे तो फील आ जाएगा. इफ इट, तो आई रिपीट हो रहा है, आप इसे कहेंगे ये रेपिटेशन है, बट ये वॉवल का है, तो वॉवल में भी वी कैन से दैट दिस इज एसोनेंस. Poetical essence होता है. Sometimes what happens is the writers have been allowed to use vocabulary or grammar whatever way they want. They do not use the grammar rules typically as we use. For them it is all allowed. So what we call it is a poetic license. You can read the definition. Poetic license is a device in which a poet takes liberty with language, changing the spellings or violating grammatical rules with the purpose of rhyme scheme, lyricism, rhythm or emphasis. We can say like this. Example, yeah, if he roars at you, you are dying, you will know it is the Asian lion. अब क्या हुआ, डाइंग में जी हटा दिया, लॉयन के साथ मैच करने के लिए उसने एन लगा दिया. हियर द स्पेलिंग ऑफ डाइंग हैव बीन चेंज्ड टू डाइन टू मेक द राइम विद लॉयन बोथ फिनोटिकली एंड विजुअली. ओके, अब आपको समझ आ गया. तो ऐसे कुछ भी छेड़ सकता है, वो अलाउड है. How to tell wild animals. As soon as he has leapt on you, you know it's the leopard. It will do not good to roar with pain. he will only lap and lap again. Now what is lap? You say यार lap क्या होता है? In these lines the poet has altered the spellings of leapt and leap again, leapt and leapt. अब देखो लेफ्ट के स्पेलिंग में एल ई ए पी टी होना चाहिए, उसको एल ई पी टी कर दिया, और लीप को उसने लेप कर दिया. ब्लेंड बेटर विद द लेपर्ड एंड लीप्ड. तो इसने उसको ब्लेंड करने के लिए, टोन को मैच करने के लिए वन कैन डू, एंड दे आर अलाउड टू डू दिस. ओके. ए नोविस माइट नॉन प्लस, ए नोविस माइट नॉन प्लस. हालांकि नॉन प्लस्ड होता है, अगर आप देखेंगे तो हेयर द पोएट टेक्स लिबर्टी विद ग्रामर एंड यूज नॉन प्लस फॉर नॉन प्लस्ड होता है. नॉन प्लस्ड का मतलब होता है परप्लेक्स्ड, कंफ्यूज्ड. बट हाँ, ये नोविस माइट नॉन प्लस, नोविस प्लस ऐसा बनाने के लिए उसने वैसे कर दिया. ही इज अलाउड टू डू दैट. वी कैनॉट से इट इज ग्रामेटिकल मिस्टेक. इन पोएट्री इट इज अलाउड. Then we have humor as well. Humor is a little device in which the poet tries to make the writing witty, थोड़ा jovial कर देता है, by provoking laughter. Usually poets employ exaggeration, understatement, imagery, ironies, satire, etc. to make the situation or language humorous. जैसे कि the poem How to tell wild animals full of humorous images. आप अगर आपने वो poem पढ़ लेंगे, आपकी बुक में तो दे रखी है, by the way सिलेबस में नहीं है, but you can see this. Just notice if he eats you. इस साल नहीं है सिलेबस में, हो सकता है नेक्स्ट ईयर आ जाए. जस्ट नोटिस इफ ही ईट्स यू. हेयर अब आपको कोई खा ही जाएगा तो नोटिस कैसे करोगे? नहीं. Here the poet gives a comical situation when a person being eaten up by the tiger and still trying to recognize which animal it is. You can understand that. He will give you just one more caress. अब कैरेसिंग कौन करता है? मदर करती है प्यार से, सहलाना. बट यहाँ पर तो बेयर के लिए कह रहा था. Here the poet uses caress for the fierce slap of swat of a bear on its victim. अगर वो जो आपको जोर से मारेगा, उतने में तो आप वैसे ही बॉडी क्रश हो जाएगी. A caress is soft and gentle, whereas the bear's stroke is violent and fatal. If there is nothing on the tree, it is the chameleon you see. No, अगर कुछ भी नहीं है तो फिर कैसे देखोगे? फिर भी हम कहते हैं, in these lines the humor lies in paradoxical statement that there is nothing to be seen on the tree, but there is a chameleon sitting there. It means कॉन्ट्रडिक्टरी तो जरूर है, लेकिन फनी फनी है. आप कहते हैं जब बैठा नहीं है तो देखेंगे कैसे? मतलब ठीक है यार, मजाक कर रहा है तो मजाक ही कर रहा है. फॉर श्योर वी आर सेइंग इट इज ह्यूमर. दिस इज व्हाट द केस इज. देन आयरनी, एवरीबॉडी नोज. We have read it so many times. Life also is ironical at times. Irony has various implications, but usually it is a difference between the surface meaning of something that is said and underlying meaning. Writers employ the device with the purpose of creating humor or satirizing somebody, or sometimes satire hota hai kind of. It is a secret, so only half of Delhi knows about it. Secret है तभी तो आधी दिल्ली को पता है, नहीं होता तो पूरी दिल्ली को पता होता. मतलब आयरनिकल है. A noble wild beast greets you. Noble wild beast greets you. What is this? Here the Bengal tiger has been called noble, ironically, because actually it is a ferocious beast who will kill anybody. But हाँ बसे बोल रहे हैं noble. He will give you just one more caress. याद है आपको, अभी हमने बात करी थी. The lines refer to the strong fatal stroke of the victim as caress, a term used for gentle affectionate stroke. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं ये क्या आयरनिकल है कि करेगा तो केयरस, लेकिन बंदा मर जाएगा. तो दैट्स व्हाट द पर्सन विल डाई, बट बिकॉज ऑफ केयरस. तो इट इज लाइक दिस थिंग, आयरनिकल हुआ. वॉर्स विद गैस, वॉर्स विद फायर, विक्ट्री विद नो सर्वाइवर्स. विक्ट्री विद नो सर्वाइवर्स इज डेफिनेटली एन आयरनी. These lines refers to wars to win and achieve victory but having no survivors. Then what is the fun of having a war? This is ironical, we say. Then we have allusion. Allusion we call as a hint. Indirect reference होता है, आप straight away नहीं कहते. Allusion means an indirect reference or suggestion. It is a figure of speech in which a passing but significant reference is made to a well-known person, place, thing or idea, or a historical, mythological, cultural, literary or political significance. It does not describe in detail the person or thing it refers to. There are two allusions in the poem Amanda, आपके लिए. A mermaid drifting blissfully. What is that? Here a reference is made to a mermaid who is in folklore is represented as an aquatic creature with the head and upper body of a female human and the tail of a fish. ये वाली बात होती है. एल्यूशन आपके इनडायरेक्ट रेफरेंस है. वो द गर्ल वाज रियली tortured or very very upset with mother's regular nagging and all, so she switches off her mind and then starts thinking of mermaid. तो mermaid के बारे में आपको एक allusion दे दिया, उसका एक indirect reference दिया. I'm Rapunzel, I have not a care, Amanda में लिखा है, We in a tower is tranquil and rare, I will certainly never let down my bright hair. Here the poet alludes to Rapunzel, a golden-haired young girl in a German fairy tale. Rapunzel was imprisoned in a tower by a witch. She let her long hair down through the window of the tower. Her prince climbed up the hair, entered the tower and rescued her. ये आपको अचानक से रेपंजल बोलते ही आपको वो पूरी स्टोरी याद आ जाती है. क्या होता है, ये उसका इनडायरेक्ट रेफरेंस दे देता है, इसको कहते हैं एल्यूजन. देन यूफेमिज्म, very good literary device. It's a Greek word meaning fair speech, an offensive expression used in a place or a sharper or a more explicit one. इनऑफेंसिव एक्सप्रेशन होता है, किसी शार्प और किसी ऑफेंसिव चीज को बड़ा आप बड़े इनऑफेंसिव तरीके से कह देते हो. क्या, इफ समवन डाइज वी नेवर से द पर्सन हैज एक्सपायर्ड, अब नहीं बोलते कोई भी, अब क्या बोलते हैं, टू पास अवे, ऐसा बोला जाता है, या ऐसा बोलते हैं लेफ्ट फॉर द हेवनली अबोर्ड, वी से लाइक दैट, ऐसे ही होता है. एंड देन डाउन साइजिंग, इफ द कंपनी इज डाउन साइजिंग विद रिट्रेंचिंग एम्प्लॉइज, बट आप ये नहीं कहते कि छटनी हो रही है, ऐसा नहीं कहते, आप कहते हैं डाउन साइजिंग हो रही है. मेंटली चैलेंज्ड पर्सन को हम मेंटली रिटार्डेड नहीं बोलते, मेंटली चैलेंज्ड बोल देते हैं, या स्पेशल चिल्ड्रन बोल देते हैं. यू माइट हैव हर्ड ऑफ दिस. Differently abled, when you go in Delhi metro, I am from Delhi, so what I find is when I go there they say differently abled, physically handicapped नहीं बोल रही होती, वो differently abled. This is softer word to say something. This collateral damage, sometimes killing of innocent civilians in a war is known as collateral damage बोला जाता है. And no truck with death, ट्रक का एसोसिएशन दिखा रहा है, तो ये भी कहीं ना कहीं क्या है, आप यूफेमिज्म है, आपने बड़ा एसोसिएशन को बड़ा लाइटली तरीके से क्या दिया है, नो ट्रक विद डेथ, ये वाले कहते हैं एसोसिएशन. ठीक है, तो दिस इज यूफेमिज्म. देन वी हैव अनदर थिंग इज इस यूफिज्म होता है. यूफिज्म इज नॉट यूफेमिज्म, इट इज यूफिज्म है. इट इज अ ग्रीक वर्ड मीनिंग वेल एंडोर्ड बाय नेचर. व्हाट इज दिस? वेल एंडोर्ड बाय नेचर, an ornately florid, precious and mazy style of writing. बहुत घुमा फिरा कर लिखना और बहुत फ्लोरिड वर्ड को यूज करना. इट इज ऑल्सो रेफर्ड टू एज अ पर्पल पैच, बड़ा बम्बास्टिक तरीके से लिखना, अच्छे वर्ड्स को यूज करना. शशि थरूर जैसे लोग जो लिखते हैं, they are very literate, so they have that kind of immense vocabulary they use in their style. This is known as euphuism हो जाता है. One example for you is The fiery stars twinkled brightly in the pitch black sky. अब आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं? Fiery stars बोल दिया आपने, twinkled brightly in the pitch black sky. Utterly exhausted, exhausted तो utterly होता है, लेकिन आपने बोल दिया. Walked painfully back, walked painfully, यहाँ पर भी आपने उसकी walking को exaggerate करने की कोशिश करी है. From the parched fields to its modest cottage. Cottage तो modest ही होती है, लेकिन just you add an adjective and then you highlight the quality of the thing. तो ये क्या होता है, हर लाइन में बहुत सारे वर्ड आपने ऐसे यूज किए होते हैं जो बड़ी स्टाइलिश आपकी लैंग्वेज लगने लग जाती है. दिस इज नोन एज यूफिज्म हो जाता है. एंटीथेसिस होता है, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Fundamentally contrasting ideas sharpened by the use of opposite or noticeably different meanings. Like crafty men, देखो ये ऑक्सीमोरॉन नहीं है, ये पूरे सेंटेंस में होता है, क्लॉज में होता है. क्राफ्टी मैन कंडेम स्टडीज, सिंपल मैन एडमायर देम, वाइज मैन यूज देम. तीनों देखो अलग अलग तरीके से हैं और तीनों के डिफरेंट मीनिंग हैं, बट एक ही सेंटेंस में यूज किए. क्राफ्टी मैन कंडेम स्टडीज, सिंपल मैन एडमायर देम, वाइज मैन यूज देम. सिमिलरली अनदर एग्जांपल, दो स्टूडियस ही वाज पॉपुलर. अब देखिए पूरी बात है. Though studious he was popular, 1. Though argumentative he was modest, 2. Though inflexive he was candid, though metaphysical yet orthodox. ऊपर क्या लिखा था? Contrasting ideas sharpened by the use of opposite or noticeably different meanings हो जाते हैं. Antithesis होता है. More haste, less speed. You can understand. Man proposes, God disposes. They're all antithesis. Okay, you can understand now, you can relate. When you read something you will find, okay यार ये ऐसे होता है. Inversion is another poetic device. It is a term used to refer to the inverting or the normal word order in a sentence. Writers normally use this poetic device in order to maintain a particular meter or rhyme scheme in poetry. मीटर भी सेट करते हैं, यानी उसका मीटर रहना चाहिए और सिम्फनी रहनी चाहिए, और emphasize a specific word in prose. To the store I will go, never have I refused. पहले देखिए, to the store I will go. I will go to the store लिखा है, लेकिन to the store I will go. Never have I refused to anyone. Never have I refused to help anyone. आप ऐसे भी लिख सकते थे, I have never helped, I never refused anyone to help, लेकिन ये never have लगाने से एक inverse हो गया. Little did I know about the topic. I knew little about the topic भी कह सकते थे, but little did I know makes impact, inversion आ जाता है. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. ये भी एक इन्वर्जन का एग्जाम्पल है. इसको सीधा लिखना चाहिए था, बट लिखा पहले हमने क्या है, द वे ए क्रो शुक डाउन ऑन मी द डस्ट ऑफ स्नो फ्रॉम ए हैमलॉक ट्री. पहले द डस्ट ऑफ स्नो फ्रॉम ए हैमलॉक ट्री आना चाहिए था, फिर वो क्यों, क्योंकि क्रो बाद में आया था. लेकिन हाँ, इट इज रिटन लाइक दैट. लाइक रूटलेस वीड्स द हेयर टॉर्न राउंड देयर पैलर. अगर आप देखें तो प्रैक्टिकली क्या है, द हेयर टॉर्न राउंड देयर पैलर लाइक रूटलेस वीड्स पीछे आना चाहिए, बट इनवर्स में लिखा रहता है. एंड क्लियर रिल्स दैट फॉर देमसेल्व्स मेक ए कूलिंग कवर मेक अगेंस्ट द हॉट सीजन. मतलब हम क्या कहना चाहते हैं, अगर आप ध्यान से देखेंगे तो क्या बनेगा, एंड क्लियर रिल्स. यहां से देखिए, एंड क्लियर रिल्स क्या है, मेक ए कूलिंग कवर फॉर देमसेल्व्स. एंड क्लियर रिल्स दैट, पहला ये पढ़िए, एंड क्लियर रिल्स दैट मेक a cooling cover for themselves against the hot season. This is inverse. You can understand. Writer must have done for the his rhyming scheme or the meter what we are saying, but inverse is used in the poem as well as prose. Okay. Then एंटोनोमेसिया होता है. एंटोनोमेसिया होता है कि एक वर्ड हम किसी के साथ एसोसिएट कर देते हैं, जैसे द बार्ड फॉर शेक्सपियर. जब बार्ड वैसे पोएट होता है, लेकिन जब द बार्ड बोलेंगे हमारे दिमाग में शेक्सपियर आ जाता है. जैसे गैमेलियल बोलते हैं तो हमारे लिए वाइज मैन आता है. जैसे ये डेनियल बोलते हैं तो वी थिंक ऑफ ए जस्ट मैन आता है और जस्टिस आता है. और ए कैसोनोवा बोलते हैं तो वोमनाइजर आता है. हिटलर इज ए टायरेंट एंड देन स्क्रूज इज ए माइजर. So these words are being used universally everywhere. If you call someone a Scrooge, means miser. If you call someone a Hitler, means tyrant. If someone calls someone a womanizer, if someone called a bard, it means Shakespeare. These are the words. Naming instead. It's a Greek word meaning naming instead. The substitution of an epithet or title for a proper name. Okay. The use of proper name to express a general idea. तो आपने general idea poet कहना है तो the bard बोलेंगे. डेनियल कहना है तो इसका मतलब जज को बोल रहे हैं. कैसोनोवा कह रहे हैं तो वोमनाइजर को बोल रहे हैं. दिस इज नोन एज एंटोनोमेसिया होता है. ओके, इट इज नॉट इन 10th 12th, बट आई हैव गिवन यू द डिटेल्स ऑफ दिस एज वेल. देन हाइपरबोल. हाइपरबोल इज सुपर एक्सैजरेशन. वी से एन एक्सैजरेशन और ओवर स्टेटमेंट फॉर एम्फोसिस. एक्सैजरेशन से भी बढ़कर. ठीक है, अभी बोलेंगे यूफोइज्म था जो भी थोड़ी मैं बोल रहा था, ये उससे भी बड़ा हो जाता है. कैसे, आई वॉज सो फेमिस्ड I could have eaten a horse. ये तो मतलब हद ही हो गई ना. आप ऐसा बोलेंगे, I was so famished I could have even eaten a horse. It means this is a super exaggeration. I always say she was so embarrassed that she died 1,000 deaths. How can one die 1,000 deaths? One can die only once, but you say died 1,000 deaths. I haven't seen you for eons. Eons means for centuries, for एजेस भी लाइक दैट. एऑन्स हो जाता है. तो किसी को अपने युगों से नहीं देखा. आप खुद ही नहीं जितना जी सकते तो किसी को क्या देखोगे. बट वी वांट टू से फॉर मेनी लॉन्ग ईयर्स समथिंग ऑफ दिस काइंड. दिस स्टोरी इज एज ओल्ड एज हिल्स. विक्ट्री विद नो सर्वाइवर्स. इफ यू रेड दिस पोम, विक्ट्री विद नो सर्वाइवर्स इज ऑल्सो अ काइंड ऑफ एक्सैजरेशन हो गया. द मैसिव वेट ऑफ अंकल्स वेडिंग बैंड. वेडिंग बैंड का मैसिव वेट कैसे हो सकता है, छोटी सी रिंग का, लेकिन हाँ हाइपरबोल है. एवरीडे स्पीच में भी कभी आप देखो तो ऐसे होता है, ही इज रनिंग फास्टर देन द विंड, द बैग वेज इट टन. आप कहते हो यार मेरा तो स्कूल बैग इतना है. बाय द वे एंडेमिक में आप स्कूल नहीं जा रहे, लेकिन हाँ, दैट मैन इज एज टॉल एज ए हाउस. दिस इज द वर्स्ट डे ऑफ माई लाइफ. आप कहते हैं, द शॉपिंग कॉस्ट मी $1 million. माई डैड विल किल मी व्हेन ही कम्स होम. Your skin is softer than silk and she is as skinny as a toothpick. All exaggeration, all exaggeration, one can very well understand. ओके, तो जो सुपर एग्जैजरेशन हो जाता है, कितना थिन भैया, टूथपिक जितना पॉसिबल नहीं है, बट हाँ आप कहते हैं, दिस इज नोन एज हाइपरबोल. पैराडॉक्स होता है, अपोजिट टर्म्स की यूज कर देते हैं. हर जेंटलनेस वाज टू हार्श टू बियर मींस एन apparently absurd or self contradictory statement which on closer examination is found to contain a truth reconciling the conflicting opposites. Her gentleness was too harsh to bear. It means she was so harsh that you cannot bear. Say like that. Too harsh to bear. हार्श तो बेयर ही करना पड़ेगा, लेकिन लिखा ऐसा रहता है, आई मस्ट बी क्रूअल ओनली टू बी काइंड. Cruel only to be kind. We say paradoxical statement. This is not antithesis. Antithesis में तीन पार्ट थे, दो पार्ट थे, पूरे सेंटेंस में डिफरेंट क्लॉजेस थे. This is not antithesis. This is paradoxical statement. This is not oxymoron. जितना आप पढ़ोगे, जब तक आप दोबारा आके नहीं पढ़ोगे तो कॉम्प्लेक्स भी हो सकता है. एंड ऑफ द होल नॉलेज यू रियलाइज कि यार ये चीजें मिक्स हो रही हैं, बट इन द क्लोजर ऑब्जर्वेशन यू रियलाइज व्हाट इट इज. आई मस्ट बी क्रूअल ओनली टू बी काइंड. Careless she is with artful care. That's what the case is, paradoxical. Okay, this is paradox. Then allegory. Allegory, we say that this is something you really need to read the whole. I say allegory is a figure of speech in which abstract ideas and principles are described in terms of characters. हम क्या करते हैं, ideas और principles को describe करते हैं as characters, figures and events. It can be employed in prose and poetry to tell a story with the purpose of teaching, explaining or ideas or principle. आप देखिए, किसी ने अगर पढ़ा है जॉर्ज ऑरवेल का एनिमल फॉर्म, आप कभी पढ़ सकते हैं, इसका क्रक्स भी पढ़ सकते हैं, नेट में मिल जाएगा. इज वन ऑफ द लिटरेचर्स मोस्ट फेमस एलिगरीज. द सरफेस स्टोरी इज अबाउट ए ग्रुप ऑफ फार्म एनिमल्स. वैसे तो देखने में फार्म एनिमल की स्टोरी है. हु राइज अप, किक आउट द ह्यूमंस एंड ट्राई टू रन द फार्म देमसेल्व्स. ये स्टोरी है. द हिडन स्टोरी हाउएवर इज अबाउट द रशियन रेवोल्यूशन. वो स्टोरी किसके बारे में बता रहा है, इनडायरेक्टली कह रहा है, रशियन रेवोल्यूशन के बारे में है. एंड ईच ऑफ द करेक्टर्स रिप्रेजेंट सम फिगर लाइक द फ्रॉम दैट रेवोल्यूशन. व्हाट pigs have been represented to communist leader Stalin, Lenin and Trotsky. The dogs represent the KGB, the human represent capitalist, and horses represent the working class, etc. Means if you read that story, you can relate to the real story of the Russian Revolution, and then you can say yes, ये character इसको represent कर रहा है, ये character इसको represent कर रहा है. Where the characters start representing the person or something, then we call it allegory होती है. Okay, you need to read a little more literature, you will understand what is allegory. Your teachers can also tell what allegory is, but this is the way we need to. Gulliver's Travels, if you read, Gulliver's Travels is also a kind of allegory where he is representing many other societies and how the politics runs. You can read that, okay? Then Synecdoche. Synecdoche is what? 40 sails. Give us this day our daily bread. The use of the name of the part refer to the whole और वैसे वर्सा. 40 सेल्स कहते ही क्या होता है, 40 शिप्स आपके दिमाग में आ जाते हैं और ये 40 सेल्स की बात कर देते हैं. ठीक है. गिव अस दिस डे आवर डेली ब्रेड. ब्रेड मीन्स व्हाट, मील्स है. वी से 40 सेल्स एंड देन डेली ब्रेड. एंड मोर एग्जांपल फॉर यू. नॉट मूव आर्म्स सो मच. आर्म्स refers to all the weapons and hostile activities. Though I said arms here is, I told you earlier arms is what you call pun, but you can say arms किसको indicate कर रहा है, whole lot of weapons in the world. तो जब पूरे को whole को indicate करेगा तो फिर हम क्या मानेंगे, synecdoche है. Here daily bread is total meals that we eat. Then 40 sails, sail is basically the kind of sail, but it is being associated with ships. तो we say this is what the case is. Okay, तो synecdoche हो जाता है. So metonymy is the phrase. Now there metonymy is there. Metonymy is what? It refers to using one thing to describe something related to it. Refer queen as the crown. अब जैसे the crown बोलेंगे तुम्हारे दिमाग में एलिजाबेथ आ जाता है. Boston led by 2 points. Boston बोलते हैं, not the Boston practically, but we're talking about the team. India has won the match. अब इंडिया कंट्री तो नहीं जीतती, बट इंडियन टीम इज विनिंग. वी से इंडिया फॉर इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम. So this is refers to the one thing to describe something related to it. Something related to it हो जाता है तो वो क्या होता है, metonymy हो जाती है. Okay. Now we have read many idioms, just what we call figure of speech. Let's have a very small test. Can you just see which of the following statement is the best oxymoron definition? Now you can see there is, you can stop your video here. Whatever you read, you can check. Okay, I know the answers. I'll go to the next thing. You can pause here, wait for the answer. Then I'm showing you the answer after this now. Which the following statement I told you is the best example of oxymoron. आपने क्या लगाया था? Is something. B is correct answer. A figure of speech in which seemingly contradictory terms are juxtaposed. Juxtapose means side by side रखकर आप करते हैं. That is B is the answer. Okay. Then, which of the following statement is an oxymoron example? Deliberate mistake, rotten banana, foolish idiot. You can very well understand A is the correct answer. Foolish idiot तो सेम ही है, rotten banana का कोई कंसर्न नहीं है. Deliberate mistake हो सकती है, mistake भी deliberately करे तो फिर A is correct. Which of the following words when used following the word partial is oxymoron? Partial लगाने से कौन सा oxymoron बन जाएगा? तो partial silence हो सकती है. आपने कहा ये सबको चुप करा दिया था लेकिन थोड़ा बहुत आवाज आ रही थी. Partial silence. You wanted to achieve 100% but you succeeded 98%. We say it is partial success. Then ceasefire, that no weapon will work and there will be complete silence. But still, once or twice it happened, we say partial ceasefire. So we say this, all of the above is the right answer. Okay, this is what the case is. And which of the following lines from Shakespeare's Sonnet 72 contains an example of oxymoron? Sonnet is a poem that is of 14 lines. Shakespeare wrote 152 or so sonnets in his lifetime. His poems are known with number, not only by the name. They're known as Sonnet 72. तो हमने बोला कि इसमें ऑक्सीमोरॉन का कौन सा एग्जाम्पल है, तो फिर आपने बोला वर्चुअस लाई हो जाएगा. लाई वर्चुअस हो जाए, ये हो नहीं सकता. वर्चुअस मीन्स गुड वैल्यू है, तो हाउ कैन इट बी? से वर्चुअस लाई है. Another test for you, just 12 more questions, just to strengthen what have you learned. You may make wrong a few, but that's all right. You can pause my video here. You can have a bit of the like guessing as well, because this is sixth wala hai. Oh solitude, where are the charms? So when you use apostrophe and as if the narrator is calling someone, we call it apostrophe. I haven't taught you that, unfortunately. This is not required much, but this example is given to you. You can very well say this is apostrophe. Now I'll show you the answers. You can pause your video here. You can check your potential and then go later. Let's see. This is what the answer is. The righteous shall flourish as the palm tree. This is simile. So I was saying this is apostrophe. You can check this. We haven't done during the video, but it's very hardly used, apostrophe. Shakespeare used it quite much. Okay. Then another test for you. You can pause here. Then you can try your caliber. How much have you learned? You can just try it on your own. Then nothing I have to do. I have given you one exercise so that you can try and then spend time with it, check your learning. And these are the answers. So now you can check your answer. Okay. Epigram is another thing which has not been mentioned, but epigram is something you can say. You will say epigram kya hota hai? Epigram is, I will write it for you, is epigram is I will say witty saying. Honesty is the best policy. That is what is known as epigram. Similarly, there is one, this thing, epigraph. Sorry. There is one, there is something like this, epigraph. Epigraph is something, a saying on a building or on the pedestal of a statue. Then we call it एपिग्राफ, जय जवान जय किसान लिखा है, हे राम लिखा है, ठीक है, तो ये सब क्या है, एपिग्राफ हो जाते हैं. बट देन वी से लिखा रहता है बिल्डिंग्स के ऊपर, स्टैचू के आगे. एंड देन वी से वन इज एपिटाफ. एपिटाफ इज रिटन ऑन a grave. That is epitaph होता है. They are quite confusing. So one can say epigram is a witty saying, epigraph is something on the building or something, and epitaph is on a grave. So here is one the child is the father of man. एड्स वाला अगर आप देखेंगे तो you must realize यार ये proverb है. These kind of proverbs जिसको मैं witty saying बोल रहा हूँ, this will be known as what epigram hai. And then last, anticlimax. Sometimes people say that what is anticlimax, so I can talk about that as well. This anticlimax is there. What is the writer, the fellow is saying, the soldier fights for glory and a shilling a day. He's paid peanuts, but he's ultimately not there for money. He's there to save our country, and he's there for the glory of the nation. That's what he says. So in terms of glory, we say he gives up his life, he sacrifices his life, but he, in return, he gets, as far as monetary value is concerned, he gets a shilling. That's the line is trying to convey. So ये कहीं ना कहीं देखा जाए तो एंटी क्लाइमेक्स का एक एग्जाम्पल है. Hope you have understood. I try to give you the insight of all these figure of speeches. If you revise this video twice, thrice, I think things will be there. Any complexity you have, anytime you can speak to me. You can leave comments on the YouTube channel. You can talk to me over this number. That number is there. I'm always available on WhatsApp, and we can definitely grow from here onwards. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you all.